We have heard and seen so much like this over and over again on TV screens and in the press in the U.S. Russia meddled in the 2016 U.S. presidential vote to influence its result in favor of one candidate. Now, the special counsel in charge of an investigation into the allegations has issued an indictment which claims a Russian propaganda arm oversaw a criminal and espionage conspiracy to influence the result of the 2016 U.S. presidential election so that Donald Trump would win the vote and Hillary Clinton would be humiliated. The Office of Robert Mueller has charged 13 Russians and 3 Russian companies in connection with the case. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has called the indictments blather.
In general, in my opinion, the list looks quite random. They simply included in it all the names they could find. According to our information, part of these people don't work at the factory now and did not even work there during the US elections.
Just another step in the chain of anti-Russian statements, actions that are developing in the United States as a result of the own problems of the fights, political fights in the country where Russia has, or rather Russian-American relations have become a victim.
Many in the U.S. have been shocked by what is portrayed as an unprecedented attack on the U.S. and its political system. But America's own intelligence veterans who have been in covert operations have a different and quite revealing view. A former CIA chief has admitted that the U.S. itself also interferes in other countries' elections to help their desired candidates win. In that regard, even if it's true, Russia's interference is just a small sample of the United States' history of intervention in foreign elections.
What does it demonstrate? It demonstrates that the Americans consider themselves to be exceptional, that they are above the United Nations, that they are the policemen of the world, that they will do as they please wherever they want in the world, providing they consider it to fall under the category of in the interests of America and the civilized world.
This is seen by many as another example of the U.S. double standards and duplicitous ways. American officials claim they meddle in other countries for, quote, democracy's sake.
If the Americans were genuinely committed to those concepts, then they wouldn't have, for instance, such a close strategic relationship with Saudi Arabia. After all, Saudi Arabia is the most barbaric country in this world.
Stephen L. Hall, who retired in 2015 after 30 years at the CIA, says, quote, if you ask an intelligence officer, did the Russians break the rules or do something bizarre? The answer is no, not at all.
The Americans interfere in countries which are of geostrategic importance to them. So, for example, in 1994 in Rwanda, the Americans didn't get involved in the terrible conflict which broke out in that country because it was deemed to be not of geostrategic importance to Washington. But other countries, such as the former Yugoslavia, or Libya, or Iraq, or Syria, or Ukraine, are very much of geostrategic importance to American policymakers. And that is why they interfere. That is why they interfered in those countries. The Americans do not sincerely care about democracy or freedom or human rights or the rule of law.
The U.S. political spectrum has been busy in recent years trying to demonize Russia amid Moscow's achievements in the international arena. Russia's success under President Vladimir Putin have caused worries in the U.S., which has always tried to portray the world's largest country and inheritor of the former Soviet Union as a regional power, not a superpower or a global player. As Trump once said during his presidential campaign, the U.S. under his predecessors was angry at Russia because Putin had outsmarted them all.